43 drivers, 200 laps, live from the New Hampshire International Speedway. The command is just ahead that it's Busch Series racing. You're watching NASCAR on TNT.
NASCAR Busch Series Racing from New Hampshire is brought to you by Smooth Busch Beer and Easy Drinking Busch Light. Busch, the proud sponsor of the NASCAR Busch Series. By Goodyear Assurance, featuring triple tread technology. And by Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. Get lost in a Reese's.
Flyover just a moment ago here at the New Hampshire International Speedway. Some very talented pilots in the air and some very talented drivers on the track. Today, for the first time, the Busch Series races with a green-white checkers rule. The purpose is to try and ensure a green flag finish. It's kind of like a racing overtime. If the race reaches the conclusion of its advertised distance under yellow, the field will be given 2 green flag laps to try and determine the winner. But if the caution comes out during those 2 laps, the race will end under yellow. Now, if that happens here today, here are the 3 guys that will explain it all to you, along with the first 200 laps. Alan Bestwick, Wally Dallenbach, and Benny Parsons.
Bill, thanks. Getting set to go with an exciting NASCAR Busch Series race. And we talked about Martin Truex Jr., the championship leader for the NASCAR Busch Series. You heard his comments, BP. How has running back and forth to 2 garages and all the extra media attention affected his preparations for this race?
That's really difficult to tell. You know, 2 weeks ago when Martin Truex Jr. left Chicagoland, life was simple. He had a 52-point lead in the NASCAR Busch Series. All he had to do was focus and win his first series championship. But last Sunday, the world turned upside down for Dale Earnhardt Jr., and that brought Martin Truex Jr. into the mix because he is going to drive the Budweiser car tomorrow, one of the best-known cars in the NASCAR Nextel Cup. And you're right, focus is what he really needs in this car, the 8 car, because after all, his job starting the year was winning the Busch Series championship. Is his focus going to be lost today? We don't know.
Wally, I heard all kinds of different strategies walking through the garage this morning, when people are going to stop and how they're going to try and use their pit strategy to get to the front of this field.
I don't think they know. 43 teams, 43 different strategies. And like I said, they don't know. They're going to have to see what everybody else is doing around them. Some guys are going to stop. First yellow comes out around 25 laps. They're going to get fuel. There's all different things going on, but you have to see how this race plays out. Track position is so important at this racetrack. It's hard to pass here.
And that's why the track position is so important. This is a tough place to get around.
It really is. But, you know, the last couple of years since they repaved the racetrack, it looks to me like passing was a little bit easier than it had been before. I'm looking forward to a good race today.
And, you know, just thinking on what you were talking about, this pit when you pit and how much fuel to the end. And you got to have enough fuel for a potential green-white checkered finish today, too. All right, getting set to go here in New Hampshire. All we need are those 4 famous words, trackside.
Ladies and gentlemen, again, direct your attention to the start-finish line. Here to give the command to start engines for the Siemens 200 is our Grand Marshal, Candace Eastman.
Drivers, start your engines.
17 races here at New Hampshire International Speedway for the NASCAR Busch Series. 17 different faces in victory lane. We'll see if it's 18 at the end of the day. Campers and motorhomes have been arriving here at New Hampshire International Speedway since about a week ago, all coming in for a weekend of NASCAR racing this weekend. The second of the triple header of days of racing, and it's the NASCAR Busch Series taking to the track for 200 laps of competition on the Magic Mile. Busch Series championship standings after 19 of 34 races. Martin Truex Jr. and Kyle Busch appearing to be the 2 drivers that are going to fight it out for the title down to the season finale in Homestead, Miami, Florida.
Pretty fair assumption. Jason Keller in third, 359 points behind.
And now our Castrol starting lineup for today's NASCAR Busch Series race. Jamie McMurray driving for Rusty Wallace. First Busch Series pole. Tried to score a win for Rusty's Busch Series team in their first season of competition. Watch out for Joe Nemechek, former winner here. And Bobby Hamilton Jr. is going to drop to the back. Engine change on the 25 car. He'll be fun to watch coming through the field.
Now we go back to row 4. We see Kevin Harvick on the inside of that. Let's try to talk to Kevin. Kevin Harvick, Benny Parsons, you got me?
4, BP.
All right, you haven't been on the racetrack since qualifying. Rain washed out your final practice. Any concerns about that, Kevin?
Somebody else wants to talk to him at the same time, I believe.
All right, let's try that again.
The concern, it's, you know, there's not been any final adjustments made. We made it off the first part of practice, so we'll just hope that our first practice was good enough and adjust from there.
All right, good luck, Kevin.
Benny.
Yeah.
Kevin Harvick going to start in the 7th position.
A little guesswork going on in those cars today, Wally.
Yep. Throwing the dice. And you see the drivers who failed to qualify. And again, moving to the back, Bobby Hamilton Jr. And he's back there, if you noticed, with Greg Biffle, who crashed on his qualifying lap. Got in on a past champions provisional, so it'll be fun to watch Hamilton Jr. and Biffle coming from the back, because I don't think they're going to be there very long. Stories from pit road while the cars are on their parade and pace laps. Matt Yoakum, how about leading us off?
Jason Leffler to 00. Now he's competed in New Hampshire in 3 of NASCAR's top series, Cup, Busch, and Trucks, but combined his best finish here is 24th. Jason told me he feels like that stat will change, and change in a big way today. They planned for weather. They were glad the final practice was rained out. Their race car very, very stout. Dave?
Matt, in qualifying yesterday, Greg Biffle was the first car to take to the track. But because of this incident on his qualifying lap, he will have to start in a backup car, and he will be one of the last cars to start this race. Rain prevented a final practice session late yesterday, meaning that the backup car will see its very first fast laps when the race starts. No doubt these guys will have to make some adjustments as the day goes along. Marty Snyder.
Well, Dave, as Alan mentioned, Bobby Hamilton Jr. will have to go to the back of the field because of an engine change this morning. This is the 4th time in the last 5 weeks the 25 team has had an engine problem. They're hoping they don't have one again today, but they did catch it in happy hour, actually in qualifying yesterday. But Harold Holley told me this morning the car is plenty good enough to come to the front. Things that concern him: very hard to pass here at New Hampshire, and this is not a long race. How he's going to get to the front, track position decisions on pit road. Maybe 2 tires, maybe no tires at the end of this race. Tire wear is excellent. We'll see a lot of that strategy on pit road today. Alan?
Yeah, Marty, I think you can take any kind of strategy you can dream up in a race, put it into a bucket, shake it up, and throw it out on the table, and we're going to see it today.
Well, those guys right there in that 25 car, they're going to do whatever they can, the quickest pit stop they can make, fuel only, whatever. That's how they're going to get that track position.
A little over $1 million on the line for the 43 teams in today's race. You see the pit window, and in my opinion, that 100 number on the end of that is with the help of some caution laps.
Well, I talked to some crew chiefs in the garage here, engine builders in the garage here this morning, and a couple of them said they could easily make it to 100. Again, I question that, but oh yeah, no problem. Well, sometimes that, oh now, no problem when you run out of fuel with a couple of laps to go.
And you gotta leave a couple extra laps in the tank in case we get the green, white, and checkered today.
Because the race is 200 laps, if the caution flag comes out on 197, it could be 205 laps.
Overtime. All right, here we go. Good crowd in the grandstands. Cloudy, overcast day, but the fans are here nonetheless, as always, at New Hampshire International Speedway. And Jamie McMurray leads the field with a green flag.
Hornaday is just forcing his way to the bottom of the racetrack. And he is going for the lead off, too.
Woo! Already there's contact. And you got to be careful right now because a lot of these cars have very low tire pressure. So, boy, that was an aggressive move to the front by Ron Hornaday in that 2 car.
Yeah,
they cost him.
Yeah. Hornaday in the 2, McMurray in the 66, Jason Leffler in the 00.
Jamie's going to get, he doesn't want to get hung up out there. Wow, oh, the 20 car really got loose.
Mike Bliss.
Wow.
Now see the bright orange car is Paul Menard, his first race in the DEI NASCAR Busch Series car. Tony Gibson, the crew chief on that car.
And all these cars, these guys think they're on ice right now. It's going to take about 10 laps, 12 laps to get these pressures built up where the cars feel a little bit more stable.
Is it all tire pressures, or we saw at the beginning of practice earlier too when we were watching the Nextel Cup practice, the first few laps guys ran, the cars were really slippery. Guys talked about this track being hard to get a hold of until you get some heat in the tires.
It's definitely slick anyway, but when you drop those pressures,
what a trouble. Matt Komenluck.
When you drop the pressures, it's even worse.
No caution yet. Kovaluk, a driver from the NASCAR Busch North Series, similar cars to the Busch Series that tour around the New England, New York area. Very successful driver in that campaign. Not had a successful start to today's race, and we remain under green.
Casey Mears making it 3 wide there in the 1 car.
See Kobieluk trying to get on the outside off the 46 car by Ashton Lewis and just simply got a little bit too high. Got up in that.
Saved it that one time.
Yeah, the car was going straight there one time. Dave?
Well, it's a shame for Kobieluk, too, because he has a lot of laps here in the Busch North Series. I talked to him just before the race. He said the one thing we want to do, stay in the groove, stay on the track, and don't make any mistakes. Just stay in this race. And obviously they did not.
Well, he's back in 43rd position. He is on the lead lap.
Boy, Kyle Busch in that 5-car looking strong. Passing on the outside, going down into turn 1. Took the spot from David Green.
A great qualifying run for Hermie Sadler in the 0-2 car. Qualified in the 12th position.
This is Martin Truex Jr. trying to take 7th spot away from Paul Menard. Truex Jr. in the 8 moving forward. And he talked about Menard in the DEI car. All right, now, what color are we going to call that car? I just call it neon. Is that right?
Close enough. And look at Truex Jr. We worried about his focus. Doesn't seem to be a problem as he just simply drives by the 87 of Joe Nemechek in the corner. He didn't set him up, do anything. He just drove by him.
And that's not easy to do.
Oh,
drive by
man.
Joe Nemechek like that.
Impressive run by the A car, Truex Jr.
Nemechek must be struggling because he's obviously sliding way up the racetrack. He's going to lose another couple spots here possibly.
Casey Atwood on the move in the 14 car, looking to try and get a spot under Menard. Here's Kyle Busch coming into the picture in the 5. And by the way, nice suggestion, highlighter yellow.
Highlighter yellow.
Looks like Joe maybe a little bit loose getting into the corner. Matt, what are they saying about the 87? Is he loose?
Well, he is loose on entry.
Yes, sir. That's what it looks like. You can see when he drives down to the corner, he's not turning the wheel. He's really driving straight.
Because he's afraid, because the front tires have more grip than the back tires on his car. If he turns the wheel, he's going to spin out.
Yep.
It's Casey Atwood in the 14. Good qualifying run for that team. Started 8th. The Navy-sponsored machine after a season's worth of struggles. Trying to get up there and have a good run. It's been a good track for Casey as well over the years. He's got a couple of top 10 finishes here.
And that's what I talked about at the opening. This has been the last year or so a very competitive racetrack. We see these guys have run now a couple laps side by side.
Wow, those front ends die when they jump out of the gas and jump on the brakes to slow down for these corners.
Matt, what are they saying about the 11 car Menard?
Well, VP, it's been a very impressive weekend. A good, solid qualifying effort by Paul Menard right now, trying to get his rhythm, trying just to work on that race car. He came here back in 1996, his first time at New Hampshire, but that was to watch his father's IRL team. Crew chief Tony Gibson told me today the biggest thing is log laps and just learn.
Menard, a 23-year-old from Eau Claire, Wisconsin. The name Menards, if you're in the Midwest, familiar to you. It's a home improvement chain of stores.
Casey Atwood kind of forced the issue.
Yes, he did. He got on the gas and kind of let her go.
Uh-oh.
Smoking.
Biffle's smoking that right front tire. Looks like he might have made contact with another car and pushed the right front fender in against the tire.
I've seen him do that a lot lately.
Todd Lorine, he's trying to pass in 31. And they will be racing for 22nd place. Sounds to me like NASCAR officials. That's Brad Parrott, the crew chief.
It doesn't matter.
Monitoring NASCAR's race control channel. Their spotters are looking at that as well and trying to make sure the 60 team is well aware of what's going on their race car.
Another guy driving is well aware.
Because you can smell that tire smoke. It comes in the cockpit of the race car, and it's know exactly what it is. The odor is unmistakable.
So Biffle back in 22nd place. He started 43rd. He's trying to pick his way toward the front. Up front is Ron Hornaday. Took the lead away from pole sitter Jamie McMurray on the first lap. He paces the field.
My name is Evil.
National Speedway, NASCAR on TNT with the NASCAR Busch Series. About 2/3 full today, the grandstands. Tomorrow, every single one of those 91,000 seats sold. They'll be full. This track so well supported by the New England fans since its opening back in 1990. Here's our Stacker 2 NASCAR Busch Series track fact. Drivers scoring their first win of the season have done so in 6 of the last 7 New Hampshire NASCAR Busch Series races. It's been a good place where if you've been fighting it during the first part of the year to kind of break through and get on a run for the summer months.
But Hornaday in the 2 car has won already. Won at Milwaukee. Jason Leffler has won already.
Well, maybe it's not their day.
Well, but
you got McMurray back there in 3rd, Mike Bliss in 4th.
Okay, we'll see.
As we check on our race leader, Ron Hornaday took the lead on the first lap from pole sitter Jamie McMurray. He's working his way now through the tail end of the field. That's Matt Kobieluk, who spun earlier in the 40. He's been put a lap down. Gus Wasson in the 10, going a lap down. Jason Leffler in the 00 is hanging right with Ron Hornaday as they pull away from some of the traffic.
Hey, Marty, what's going on with the 25 car?
All Bobby Hamilton Jr. said on the radio, I think it's a rocker arm. I went to Harold Holly. They're on 7 cylinders. It's their 2nd engine of the weekend. And again, the 4th time in 5 weeks they've had engine problems.
That is unbelievable.
We heard Hamilton Jr. say when they had their problems early in the Chicago race, there goes our championship hopes. If they have another engine problem today that knocks them out of the race, there does go any hope they have in the championship.
It's David Green in the 37 car trying to get by Paul Menard in 11.
Ooh, rubbing on him.
13th, and here comes Johnny Sauter in the 27 car. Remember last year, folks, he drove the 43 car and was very, very fast. By far the fastest car here. Did not win, but he ran so fast that everyone thought he would have to be cheating, that he'd done something with the tires.
He came through the field, took the lead, went down pit road just after taking the lead for a green flag pit stop, came back out on the track, and the caution came out and caught him a lap down. Came back through the field again and was in position for a decent finish when he got involved in a little tangle, but what was it? They took his tires at the post-race tech and sent him off to a lab to be tested, and everything came back clean.
He was fine, just fast. But he was so fast, the competitor said, there's no way. He has to be cheating. He was so fast. But here he is. Pretty quick today.
Say that. You can get blown away that bad. They're cheating.
David Green is in 13th in the 37. 27 and 11 are racing for 14th. And we move ahead to Kyle Busch in the 5. Moving ahead a spot.
He takes over the 8th position from Joe Nemechek. That's Nemechek in 87. Kyle Busch in 5.
He's been passing cars on the inside, the outside. That car looks like it can go wherever he wants it to.
Of course, Kyle's 2nd in the NASCAR Busch Series Championship to Martin Truex Jr. Truex Jr. running in 6th right now.
Well, Marty, what are they saying about Greg Biffle's car?
Well, it seems like the tire up's not bothering him very much. He was pretty calm on the radio, but I would wonder, Wally, as a driver, wouldn't that worry you? It is a right front tire up. He didn't say who he made contact with. All he says about the car is it's terribly loose in and tied off. Brad Parrott asked him about it, the crew chief. He said, don't worry about it. We're not coming down pit road. The tire up's not that bad. It only happens when he goes into the corner and it's subsiding the longer they run.
Yeah, when you get in the corner, I don't know, it's happening all the way through the corner on that deal, but you don't really worry about it, Maury, unless it's affecting the way your car's handling. The last thing a driver wants to do is give up that track position. You come down the pits, you change tires, and you're going to be a couple laps down. But like I said, he's done that before. He had that problem in Chicago.
This is a problem, a little different sort there.
Yeah.
He broke the water hose up in Chicago going down to turn 1, and you and I talked about it. Could not happen at a worse spot. But Biffle really and truly does a pretty decent job keeping the car under control. Obviously hit the wall, but he could have been much worse than that.
And unfortunately for Greg, that 32nd place finish in Chicago dropped him from 3rd to 6th in the championship standings. Remember, he is one of the drivers trying to run both the full Busch Series and Nextel Cup Series schedule. It's not too bad here at New Hampshire this weekend. Both divisions are in the same place. Next weekend, well, it's going to be a little tougher because the Busch Series is in Colorado Springs and the Nextel Cup Series is in Pocono in Pennsylvania.
A long airplane ride apart.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a commute there. Ron Hornaday is out in front. Championship leader Martin Truex you're riding with there. He's in 6th place.
TV Guide raves.
Its caution flag has just come out. Jimmy Kitchens is spun down in turn 1.
He must have a right rear tire flat. Yes, it is. Because I saw him up in 3 and 4 very slow, and he goes down in 1 and spins out. Dave?
Yeah, that's what they told him as soon as they got down there and did that spin. He said definitely right rear, guys. And you'll see that as he comes into camera view here. That right rear gone, BP.
Okay, now here comes the strategy plays.
Okay.
Yes.
Now we'll see some guys fueling only, doing all kinds of different things on pit road.
We are 30 laps into the race when the caution comes out. We'll check the replay, and then we'll check the pit stops.
very slow, lazy spin going down in turn one.
Actually, they turn really, really well without a right rear.
Yeah.
He did, didn't he?
Yeah. Would that be the indication of loose?
Yes. That's loose in right there.
And no contact with the outside retaining wall, so
he drove it away. It's the old saying, if you can drive it in, it doesn't count against your resume.
All right, pit road is open. Let's see what kind of strategy is going to play out.
You're nodding yes. You know of that phrase?
Yes. All right, here they come.
First few, first three, first four stay out. No, first three stay out. Fourth place, Jamie McMurray is that yellow car who's the first one to come in.
See if they threw the
Kevin Harvick is in, loose in the middle, guys. Doesn't want the front to be any tighter. They're going to go down the left front 1 pound. They're going to take the track bar down as well. Marty?
Well, Dave, fourth place Jamie McMurray will make drastic changes on this car. They're going to pull a rubber out of the left rear, a rubber out of the right front, trying to loosen the car up. It is loose in. They'll put a little wedge in, trying to help that out a little bit. Jamie said, I think the right front is loose. Long time on this pit stop. He'll lose a lot of track position. Matt?
Joe Nemechek, we told you earlier in the 87 car, it was jumping loose on him. They made a 2-tire change, right sides. They made a wedge adjustment to try to tighten that race car up.
Marty, I see the hood up on the 25 car.
Yeah, Wally, they were just going to make sure it wasn't a plug wire, and I've got to check and see if it was indeed a plug wire, but they were going to make sure that a plug wire had not come loose. That would make the car go to 7 cylinders. Again, Bobby Hamilton Jr. said he thought it was a rocker arm, which is a piece inside the engine, but we'll have to check for the plug wire here. They're trying to get all the fuel in. Now they're going to make a chassis adjustment. They're trying to help them out, trying to hurry. That's right, BP, to beat that pace car out.
And he did. Kevin LePage barely beats the pace car out as well.
So Ron Hornaday does not pit, holds on to the lead. We'll reset the strategy for you when we come back to New Hampshire. Martin Truex Jr., the NASCAR Busch Series championship leader, who is leaving pit road. He did not pit a second time by choice. He pitted by force. Marty?
Yeah, Alan, they were making a fuel-only stop, and they tried to make it a little too quickly. They took the fuel can 1 stall away, but you can't take any equipment out of your pit box. It actually fell in Bobby Hamilton Jr.'s pit stall, but still he had to come back in and serve the penalty. But Kevin, Bono, and Mannion, the crew chief, said, listen, you've got a good car. Be patient. We've lost a little track position, but we'll be fine.
Well, we got a whole pile of different strategies that have been employed here, but all these guys at the front of the line, they didn't pit.
Green flag.
First one in the line that did pit that I can see is Joe Nemechek in the 11th spot.
Did the 5-car Kurt Busch not pit?
No, he did not. Kyle Busch. He did not. So Hornaday, Leffler, Bliss, Atwood, Busch, Keller, Mears, Compton, Kane, and Paul Wolf. 10 cars did not pit under that caution. And what was Ron Hornaday's crew thinking by choosing not to pit? Dave, what do you think? What's up?
Let's find out. We'll ask Butch Hood. Butch, why stay out now? Do you think you can pass cars later?
Yeah, we only get 2 tires per position here, and we can go a lot further on fuel. Tires really don't fall off much here, so we might have messed up there, but he felt like the car was pretty good, so we'll stay out there and see what happens.
Hard to give up the lead, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
It's hard to be the first one on pit road, guys.
All right, well, like we said, take all the different strategies that could be played out today, and we'll see them all in the course of the race, and we'll know about lap 200, which one's going to be the one that works.
Well, and he's out front. That's where you want to be in these races anymore, because you're in clean air. You're not having to worry about dirty air around other cars. So I think that's probably a good decision.
Now, Martin Truex Jr. is back in 25th place after the extra pit stop, so he's got some traffic to work his way through to get back into contention. And there he is right there trying to pass Todd Bodine for 24th. That is
Remember who you're racing right there. It's the Bodine still outside.
Oh, 6 seconds behind the leaders.
I think they fixed the 25 car. He couldn't run down the straightaway on 7 cylinders.
I know who could tell us. One Marty Snyder.
Marty?
Yeah, BP, there's flames on the side of that car and a fire in that young man's belly. He has 8 cylinders back. The plug wire was off. They found it, put it back on. The car's in good shape now.
All right.
We'll watch the two of them try and work their way up through. This is Casey Kane in the 38 and Paul Wolf in the 6 car. Wolf from Milford, New York, former NASCAR Busch North Series driver.
And Paul don't spin out the 38 car. The 6 car is owned by Tommy Baldwin, and the 38 car drives his NASCAR Nextel Cup car. So
Casey Kane.
Yes. Ken's with the 17 car going by Paul Wolf, and here comes Nemechek.
Now, Nemechek got a couple of tires on his pit stop. I want to double check whether he got 2 or 4. And we saw Kevin Harvick and heard the report on his pit stop. It was 2 for Nemechek. And so here's some of the guys trying to pick their way back up through who did stop earlier. Now, you're a driver, you're in the car here, and you're trying to figure out, you got these guys in front of you who didn't stop. Are you trying to figure out who did what, or are you getting some help from them with that?
I think what you're asking your crew, because if somebody just goes blowing by you want to know if they're on tires and they took more tires than you did or whatever. So your team and your spotter is helping you out right here, letting you know who's on what and who took what on that last stop.
I tell you what, that 66 car, Jamie McMurray, really gets in the corner very well as any car I've seen. Now, he doesn't seem to come off as good as some of these other cars, but he really drives her down the corner well.
Remember, that's Rusty Wallace's car, that 66. Billy Parker had been driving that earlier in the season. They put McMurray in it to try and get the team sorted out, get him some results for the sponsor with a more experienced driver.
Seems to be working.
McMurray running right now in 16th place. Ron Hornaday is out in front. Lap 41 of 200 is complete from New Hampshire. You're watching NASCAR on TNT.
Saturday, in the shadows of New York City, Robbie Knievel, a true American daredevil, jumps the former USS Intrepid. Saturday at 8 on TNT. And don't miss the TNT original movie Evel Knievel right after the jump on TNT.
And here at New Hampshire International Speedway, Ron Hornaday continues to lead. Today's Siemens 200 for the NASCAR Busch Series. Just about a quarter of the way into the race. He's up by 0.3 of a second on Jason Leffler, with pit strategy having shuffled the field. We talk about Robbie Knievel. Robbie is in the booth here with Wally and Benny and I. Wally, you had a chance to take Robbie around the racetrack this morning.
Yeah, I did. That was fun. And it's funny, you got to hang out a little bit, meet some guys. You can see how the Knievels have influenced a lot of us. A lot of us have seen your dad and you jump. I got a broken collarbone from trying to fly, too.
Don't blame me.
Yeah.
I'm blaming my dad for everything.
Yeah, all of us tried jumping something, doghouses, cars, creeks, and we've all fallen and moved on. But you got a big day coming up on Saturday night. That's going to be really a lot of fun.
A lot of crazy things going on these days, especially that ride you took me in this morning.
That was fun. That was a good time.
But,
hey, we had to get you up that early.
I'm doing this. I wanted to do a jump right after 9/11, but it was too close for me to take off, risk my life right after everybody got killed. Right. So this dedication, it's good timing. I'm going to jump both World War I and II planes on the USS Intrepid. It's the biggest airspace museum in the world, and bring attention to it. And I'm doing it and dedicating it to the troops, the families of the fallen heroes, and the World War I and II vets, everybody. So it's going to be for all the police families, fire department, paramedics, everybody in New York. I did my first show there at 8 years old in Madison Square Garden. I haven't been back since, so I'm really looking forward to it.
Well, a great dedication. A risky way to dedicate, but I'll tell you what, I'm going to be there all week watching you guys set everything up. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be really cool.
I've been flying around the country promoting this deal, and at the race next weekend at the Poconos, Evel Knievel, me, and live. Can't beat it.
Better than that. That'll be fun. Thanks,
no
man.
drama.
Is there any way we can take you to put Wally on the back of the motorcycle and just scare him?
No.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
It's scary enough just being in the booth with you, Alan. I don't need any more.
Robbie, thanks.
Thanks, you guys.
Robbie Knievel here with us in New Hampshire. Jason Leffler in the 00 trying to close in on Ron Hornaday lead. Matt, what's up with the 00?
He closed to about 0.2 of a second slower than Hornaday, but now it's kind of inched back out to about 0.4. Now, his spotter, Eddie DeHunt, was telling him, whatever you did down in turns 3 and 4, keep doing it. Your line looked awesome, and that seems like where you're really seeing the gain on the 2 car today.
Matt, the 2 car right now has been very, very quiet. Ron's car is just a little bit loose. They talked about perhaps making an air pressure adjustment on the first stop, but keep this in mind. If we happen to go green, white, checkered, as was mentioned at the beginning of this show, Ron ran the Truck Series, and when he started in the top 3 with his green, white, checker, 70% of those times he won. Just keep that in mind if we get down to a little drama at the end.
Ron's pretty good at restarts. He works hard at it, and he does well with it.
The king of restarts. Talking about Ron Hornaday in the 2 car.
Now, if you're Hornaday's team or Leffler's team or some of these other guys, and you chose not to pit on that caution at lap 31, what's the point you start to get nervous waiting for another caution? Lap 75 or so?
Right now.
Now? Yeah.
You're looking at the guy in your mirror and you're going, sure could use a yellow right now because your car's going away and you're wanting to get in a pit lane.
There's a race for 11th, 12th, 13th. Paul Wolf in the 6th.
Wow, he really slid up there in the center.
Was 11th. He's now 12th. Stremmy's now 11th.
And Jamie McMurray, we heard during commercial break from pit road. Remember we talked about him fearing he had something wrong with the car in the opening laps. Marty, what'd you find out?
Alan, that's pretty impressive. He could diagnose that the right front tire was loose on Jamie McMurray's car. When he came down pit road, 2 lug nuts were loose. I think, BP, you were mighty impressed by that he could diagnose that on the fly while driving and still hang on to that race car.
You know, after a pit stop, it's something that you would suspect of happening, but, you know, starting the race, you would think that never think about the tires being loose.
New team Bruce. Well, that may not be fair to say either, but it happened. And McMurray is trying to make up the lost ground. If you watch him, you're going to say the same thing I was?
That's the first car I've seen under the yellow line here.
He's been doing that for about the last 10 or 15 laps, trying to pass people. If you're going to pass him, you got to run where they're not. Let's look a little farther ahead. Matt Kenseth, speaking of trying to pass. 17 car working on Johnny Sauter in the 27. That's for 8th place.
And we talked about Johnny Sauter and how well he ran last year. And he moved up to the 8th position rather quickly. But looks like right now the car might be struggling a little bit, talking about the 27, to find some speed. He's certainly not as fast as Hornaday now. And not as fast as Matt Kenseth as well.
Hey, see Matt Kenseth out here running this race today after everything that's been in the news for Dale Earnhardt Jr. this week. The subject of risk versus reward, what drivers gain by running these extra races on Saturday or wherever else they might be versus the risk of being injured and missing out on their primary duty, which is the Cup car on Sunday. Most of the drivers I talk to say, I accept the risk for the rewards you get back. I just want to race.
And I think most everyone feels exactly the same way. And I don't think you can live in a bubble, you know, because they got to go to and from the racetrack, to and from the shop. All those things are dangerous.
And this helps, though, for getting the rewards on Sunday. When you race the Busch race, you're learning the track, you're learning what different change is going to help you for that Cup car on Sunday.
There was someone prompting me to say it's a little more dangerous to drive on the racetrack than it is on the highway, but I've ridden next to Wally before. I'm not going there.
Me?
Yeah, you. This is David Stremme successfully holding off McMurray for 11th spot for now. And continuing to track Ron Hornaday, the race leader. Coming up on 60 laps. And he is out in front, not having yet made a visit to pit road. Back at New Hampshire International Speedway, just as the caution comes out for a second time in today's race. It was David Stremme who ran into problems in the 32 car.
He made some contact, and he's got a fire under the car. Some of that rubber has gotten so hot under there that it's on fire. So, interesting. The 66 car, McMurray goes down in the corner, gets loose, and when he goes up to save it, he runs into the left rear of the 32 of Stremme. And that caused the left rear tire to go flat immediately. And he still hasn't pitted.
And the casing wrapped around the axle, and that's what's probably burning under there, you think?
Yeah, no brake lines, body damage.
Not too good.
Not too good. Looks cool.
Yeah.
Bring it in, David.
Yeah, I think right now would be a good time to bring it in. Get the fire extinguisher, get everything ready.
Bring the car in and install this time.
He's leaving fire on the racetrack.
He's trying to stay on the lead lap.
I don't think it's going to matter. They got a brake line they've got to fix, I'm sure. And
Got a little small fire. Don't put any fuel in it, Randy.
Good idea.
And NASCAR had just before that, NASCAR just radioed down to the official of the pit. Don't let them fuel that car until they get that under control.
Yeah. I think they've got some work to do.
Yep. That's too bad for Stremme. He's had kind of a run of bad luck here lately. Had finished at 28th at Daytona, 34th at Chicago, and now some troubles before halfway. Put the fire, no. Put the fire out first.
There you go. Thank you very much. Ooh. Oh my goodness! I thought he was going to plug in the gas. after all that, can he get the left sides changed before the pace car comes around and laps him?
They still got problems there. You see the fireman jumping back.
They're going to lose more than a lap, I believe.
Yep. Okay, here come the leaders. Matt, go ahead.
Jason Leffler started third, currently second, so the car is tight on entry and through the center when he hits the transition. It does jack a little loose. They're going to try to fix it this stop with air pressure down on the left side. If that doesn't help, air pressure next stop on the right front, Dave.
Leader Ron Hornaday in for 4 tires and fuel. Going to take some air pressure out of the right rear, just a little bit loose. He goes a little slow now. Having trouble on the left front. Drop the lug nut. Marty?
Dave, we're seeing pit strategy everywhere. Casey Mears having a nice top 10 run, 4 tires. His car was just tight a little bit. Pulled a rubber out of the left rear. I think a lot of guys took 2 tires, though.
Yeah, there's a big charge off of pit road that's going to really jumble up the running order for this one. And a few guys that did not pit under this caution as well. Ron Hornaday with the slow stop is going to put him back in traffic after leading about all of the opening 65 laps of this race. We'll sort it out when we come back. From New Hampshire, you're watching NASCAR on TNT.
Wherever you go, you've got NASCAR news, stats, and live racing.
The edge of the White Mountain Range of New Hampshire. It's New Hampshire International Speedway, opened in 1990 on the site of the former Breyer Motorsports Park road course. And they pack them in here twice a year for the NASCAR race weekends. Today, the NASCAR Busch Series. Tomorrow, the NASCAR Nextel Cup Series. You're seeing them both live here on TNT. A lot of strategy played out on this caution flag. Here's your race leader, Mike Wallace. We ride with him. He did not pit, so he takes over the top spot. Saw Ron Hornaday in our Aaron's pit summary. Saw him have the long stop with the lug that dropped off on the left side.
And Mike Bliss had the best stop of all those guys. Came in third and comes out 7th. And with fresh tires, could be a factor.
And that would be one of those guys looking for his first NASCAR Busch Series win of the season.
There you go.
First NASCAR Busch Series win, period. Back to our prior track fact. So Mike Wallace is the leader. Paul Wolf is second on the racetrack. He came in a lap before pit road was opened, and we're waiting to find out where he is going to restart. Greg Biffle is third, and Jamie McMurray is back up to fourth. He started on pole. This was the first lap of the race.
Hornaday in the 2 car, who started outside. They make contact off 2, but Hornaday gets that preferred position, takes the lead, and led until this made a pit stop just a few laps ago.
And you see, got a little bit sideways, getting in the corner, got in the back of David Scremmy. Unfortunately, when they made contact there, it cut Scremmy's left rear. And when that tire came apart, I believe it probably took the brake line and body work and all that good stuff. What are they saying on the 66 there, Marty?
Yeah, Jamie's got a sense of humor at least. He just came on the radio with the guys and said, you know, it's been kind of a fun day. It's been interesting at least. Remember, they did not take tires this last time. That is why they are in the 5th position now. They have only 1 set of tires left, but they're kind of on equal footing with everybody else. And all things given, their car's been pretty good. I think you've talked about it a few times today, Wally. It gets into the corner better than most of the cars out here.
Yeah, it looks really good. The problem is he's got to stop leaning on guys like that, because you see all the body damage on the right side. That's not going to help later on.
Track Pass, NASCAR.com's live race application, has an interesting offer for you. Your first month of Track Pass for $1.
That's almost free.
Almost. NASCAR.com. Find out more. So we talked about the first few guys that did not pit. Mike Wallace and then Paul Wolf. Then you've got Biffle, McMurray, Harvick, David Green, all on fuel strategies that are out in the 3rd through 6th positions. Then Mike Bliss, the first one off pit road with 4 tires in 7th spot.
And we see Paul Wolf on the right, the bright olive green or whatever car, waiting for the field to go by. He will have to start at the rear of the field. His penalty for pitting too soon.
Came in before pit road was open. So Mike Wallace, and we've seen this movie before, playing a little strategy for track position.
Green.
Wallace, of course, a popular winner down at Daytona, when basically the leaders in front of him crashed on the last lap.
Wow. Right around the outside, BP. Take that.
Pretty strong. McMurray's going to try to do the same thing.
He's got up in the marbles a little bit. You see Biffle in the 60 car kind of working that wheel back to left to the right, trying to get the tires cleaned off.
Well, McMurray said, I don't know. Maybe I'll try the inside. Well, that didn't work too good.
Last race for the NASCAR Busch Series at Chicago. Remember Mike Wallace playing his strategy right, leading when the white flag waved, and then he promptly ran out of fuel.
Yes. I talked to Tony Lambert, the crew chief, on that 4 car this morning, and they changed the vent hose back in their car because they felt like that after they fueled the car the last time and left pit road, they lost enough fuel out the vent hose to have made that other mile he needed to.
Here it was at Chicagoland a week ago, or 2 weeks ago now it was, that open week last week. That's Justin Labonte, who was able to take advantage when Mike Wallace ran out of gas, and Labonte en route to his first NASCAR Busch Series win. And doing like old dad, no burnouts, anything like that. Just like his father did when he won the Southern 500, grabbed the checkered flag from the starter and made a good old-fashioned victory lap around the racetrack.
And right now, Justin Labonte is running 25th in the race here at Loudon, New Hampshire.
Talked with Terry. Proud day for him. He said his father, Bob, Justin's grandfather, when Terry talked to him after the race by telephone, first words out of Grandpa Bob's mouth were, "I knew that boy could drive." Now Mike Wallace trying to hang on to second spot under some big pressure from Jamie McMurray as Biffle has sailed off into the distance. Talking about Justin BP.
There he is, back in, lost another spot. Marty?
BP, the sport has an amazing ability when you're, on top of the earth to put you right back down, doesn't it? That's exactly what happened to Justin when he came here this weekend, and there's trouble on the racetrack, Wally.
That would be Tim Finois in the 12 car, and the caution flag is out.
And he will not be very happy with one Paul Menard.
No, he will not. But fortunately, he did a 360 and did not hit anything, so...
Only lost a couple of spots, and so maybe all that anger is for nothing.
Probably flat spotted him, Gary.
I'd say he lost a little rubber, too.
They feel flat spotted, Tim. A lot of smoke. I don't think it's flat spotted.
Talking about the tires, once these tires stop and spin across this asphalt, it will just grind them off like a grinder, and they call that flat spot in the tires.
But if you stay in the gas, it's not as bad as if you jump on the brakes.
There we see the neon car of Paul Menard going up, get in the back of Timmy Finois there.
Oh, and your championship leader Truex sliding by to the inside.
Looks like he kept the tires rolling.
Yeah, I think he may be okay. Maybe flat spot of the rear is just a little bit, but...
Well, you could see Menard really dive on the brakes there when he realized he was running up on Finois' back bumper.
Nice save.
Nonetheless, third caution is out in the Siemens 200 at New Hampshire International Speedway on TNT.
Did he do the crime?
Right there in black and white.
He was murdered. Law and
Junior's car at New Hampshire International Speedway, and the cause of the third caution of the race. We look ahead. That's Paul Menard in the bright yellow car.
And then we hear Jerry.
Watch the spin in front of you. Watch the spin. Come nice, clear high. Caution's out. Caution is out. Nice job there.
Joey Meyer, the spotter, warning the driver.
And NASCAR Busch Series racing from New Hampshire is brought to you by Exxon and Mobil retailers, who wish all the drivers a great race today. By Trim Spa X32, your dream body diet pill. Trim Spa BNB. And by KFC's $4 meals. 3 tasty meals complete with 2 sides and a biscuit for only $4 each. And so the reason we are under caution for a third time. Only a few pit stops under this yellow. Mostly guys, because the limit NASCAR places on tire usage, just taking on fuel, making adjustments to their cars. Mark Truex Jr. back in 20th position. Championship leader. There's Kenny Wallace. Kenny's in 19th, just ahead of Truex, as we get set to come to the restart.
And we talked about Greg Biffle, the leader of the race, as he comes down and waits for the green flag. Okay, restart.
Green flag.
Again, Biffle started last in this race. Jamie McMurray with a big block on Kevin Harvick.
And it worked. He's able to maintain that position, but gets a great run on Mike Wallace. Takes over second spot.
Remember, Wallace did not pit when all the other front runners did to get fresher tires back at lap 66. Kevin Harvick has had a pretty solid record here at New Hampshire, although he's a little bit star-crossed. He's finished second the last 2 times he's run here, and you might think, well, that's not all that bad. But he led 165 laps and 152 laps of 200 in each of those races.
We see Jason Leffler in a double zero alongside Ron Hornaday. Hornaday had some problem down in 3 and 4, allowed Leffler to get alongside, but whatever the problem was, looks like Hornaday has it rectified, able to maintain that position. He fought him off. That 12th spot.
He's got some ground to make up to catch up with Greg Biffle. Remember, Hornaday took tires on the last caution. Did not.
And now he's in that trap we talked about. Will affect you instead of being out in that clean air.
Up ahead, 3rd place, Kevin Harvick now working on Mike Wallace for 3rd place. Harvick's just the 1 NASCAR Busch Series win so far this year in Las Vegas.
I think this goes back to exactly what you talked about at the very top of the show. Track position. It's so difficult to pass. We've seen cars pass, but it's not the easiest thing in the world to do.
Yeah.
Get up there and use that pit stop to get your track position.
And Jamie McMurray figured that one of his best opportunities to get by that 4-car Mike Wallace was on the restart, because he fought him a long time before that last yellow and couldn't get by him.
And that's why I wanted to put the big block on Harvick, was to make sure Harvick didn't mess up his plans to make that pass. Can he get him this time?
He's gonna try. Dove in there pretty deep, yes.
And you saw Mike Wallace's car veered to the right. That was a spotter saying inside, inside. Because I think Mike Wallace started in his normal line, and the spotter said, whoop, a car's on the inside, so he steered away from Kevin Harvick.
Defending winner of the race, David Green, there in the 37 car. He outdueled Harvick for this race victory at New Hampshire a year ago. David using that flatter part and inside lane of the racetrack to see if he can get a run on Mike Wallace.
Better be careful that 5 car, because Kyle Busch looking on the outside. He's made a lot of passes today on that outside. He's following him there.
Bottle up there. And this all going on from 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. And 8th place on back.
One of those guys slips now, he's going to lose 7 or 8 spots.
Kyle Busch going to try the outside of David Green.
That car is working good on the outside.
Awfully impressive.
We'll see if Mike Bliss can follow him through. Nope.
On board with Jason Keller in the 22.
He's got a lane on him.
Yeah, he did get him.
I talked with Mike's crew chief Steve Addington this morning. I said, so what kind of strategy are we going to see from you today? He said, I have no idea. We're just going to have to see how our car's handling.
Kyle Busch in the 5 car making a little bit of contact with Mike Wallace in the 4.
Down on the inside now.
4th place. And through.
Fast car.
19 years old, Kyle Busch, driving for Hendrick Motorsports as Mike Bliss now goes around Mike Wallace and picks up the 5th position. Coming up on halfway today here at New Hampshire International Speedway. Greg Biffle started last. He's leading. Your championship leader, Martin Truex, is back in 17th. Flag has just come out here at New Hampshire International Speedway.
Okay, we're at 90 laps, BP. What do you do now?
You can't make it the rest of the way, I don't think.
No. So you probably, yeah, I mean, but you may not get another caution for a long time.
Do you stop now, change 4 tires, and just fuel only?
Yeah, that's what I would do.
30, 40 laps to go?
If I was going to gamble, I'd put the tires on now and do exactly that.
Caution for debris on the racetrack. And race control deciding that the field needed to be slowed to pick it up.
Marty, did you have something for us?
BP?
Yes?
I was going to tell you that Greg Biffle, the leader, is going to stay out, but they're not getting as good a fuel mileage as a lot of teams on pit road. So I don't, do you roll the dice if you're like a Richard Childress Racing team, who was one of the teams that said they could possibly go 100 laps? That's a big gamble, though, BP.
It really is.
But you like gambling.
All right, Mike Wallace comes on to pit road.
I can pretty much guarantee you he's not stopping the rest of the way. We'll find out when we come back to New Hampshire.
See it Mondays at 9, only on TNT.
I wonder if that's going to be as good as Law and Order. It is, I'm in.
Like that kind of thing, huh?
Oh, yes.
All right, we're half a lap for the restart here in New Hampshire. We'll come to the restart at lap 94 with Greg Biffle leading. Very few of the leaders pitted under this last caution, but a couple of cars came in and topped off the fuel. Mike Wallace, Ashton Lewis, Kenny Wallace.
And Kenny Wallace came back in, even jacked up the left side to get every drop of fuel he could in that car. So he obviously is going to try to go the rest of the way.
Great flag, great flag.
Greg Biffle, the leader, takes the field back through the gears. Jamie McMurray second, Kevin Harvick third, Kyle Busch fourth, and Mike Bliss fifth, followed by David Green, Jason Keller, Casey Atwood, Ron Hornaday.
Hang on there.
And Casey Mears.
I don't know if the 21 car missed a shift or if he lost an ignition box or something, because it looked like he was going to make a run on the 60-60, went down in turn one, and all of a sudden the car slowed. The 5 of Kyle Busch was able to get by, but now he looks like he's up to speed.
Kind of jammed up the pack here.
Oh man, and they are tight. He needs to get in front of Keller there in that 22 car, or he may lose a few more spots.
Oh, Hornaday in the wall off turn 2.
Hold on to it.
Whoa, and he gets hit again.
Casey Mears in the one,
and he's going to hit Casey.
Clunk. NASCAR race control asking the officials to settle the drivers of the 1 and 2 automobiles down.
Dave, what happened to 21 on that restart, you know?
Well, they are not sure, BP. With 1 to go, Kevin reported in he thought he may have a flat tire. He had been reporting that his car was still way too loose getting into the corner. He said it was like the back was passing the front, so he's been having trouble with it. Not sure, and they don't know what happened on the restart.
And he just slipped there again just now, Dave. And here comes Mike Bliss to his inside to try and get 4th spot away. Kyle Busch, after passing Harvick, has left him. You see, he's not even in the picture.
Yeah, Kevin's going to be a little bit careful right now. He gave that spot up to the 20 car of Mike Bliss. I think he wants to feel that car out for a few laps.
Caution's out. Trouble in turn 1. Matt Kovaluk again.
And he just was awarded the Lucky Dog Award on this last caution flag to get back in the lead lap. But this looks like it's a little, uh-oh, we got some fire. Matt, jump out of there,
Get out of there.
That pull forward first, so he can jump out.
Man, it looks like the fire now. Maybe that fuel extinguisher in the trunk worked, because it looks like the fire subsided.
He's away from the wall enough. He can get out.
I don't think he had any idea it was on fire either.
See how fast those guys got there?
Boy, that's awesome.
You know why?
Yeah. Last year at this very racetrack.
That's right.
In the NASCAR Nextel Cup race last year, Dale Jarrett's going off turn 4 and was sitting in the middle of the racetrack. And when all those cars came charging back at him, it looked so dangerous that NASCAR officials said, and I think wisely so, we need to stop this.
No more racing back to the caution. Just think about some of the things that have happened in the last year. You see the safer barrier there to the right. No more racing back to the caution. Today we could possibly have a green-white checker finish.
Let's go back and see this Hornaday deal. See him getting off of turn 2 there. Gets up in the wall. Now Casey Mears is in the 1 car, the yellow freight car right there. Now he just turns down underneath Hornaday, and it looks like 2 cars just trying to get to the bottom or keep driving down. And then the 1 car decides, I think I'll go up and hit him.
Man, don't pinch me off. I'm going to need that angle into the corner. And this is what happened to Matt Kovaluk.
Oh! Ashton Lewis going in the corner makes some contact with Kovaluk, and
Kovaluk looked like he drove down on top of Ashton Lewis on that deal.
let's see, on board with Kenny Wallace.
Right in front of you, Cologne. That away.
Did that change your opinion any?
As long as we have race cars,
on this kind of, on oval tracks, we're going to have those kind of crashes. What's up with the 60, Marty?
BP, he decided to stop. Brad Parrott said, let's come down pit road now. Let's get our 4 tires now so that at the end of the race, we do stop fuel only at the end of the race. So that's their strategy, and they're sticking to it. Nobody else came down pit road with them, though.
We were only 1 yellow off.
Yeah,
that's
exactly
what we said we would do.
10 laps ago.
Well, there were a few others that did stop under this caution. Jason Leffler, David Green, Matt Kenseth among them. We'll recap it for you and have the restart when we come back to New England.
My name is Evel Knievel.
Continuing down inside of turn number 1. NASCAR on TNT comes back live to New Hampshire International Speedway. Matt Kovaluk's car being loaded up on the rollback and some of the debris being removed from the racetrack so we can resume competition here in a moment. Talked about the reason that there is no longer racing back to the caution flag happening here last September.
Yeah, this is a scary deal. Watch Dale Jarrett, the 88 car. He comes off the 4, he hits the wall, and he stopped. Now, it used to be he used to race back to the yellow. They're all coming out of 4.
Watch this. They're racing as hard as they can, and he's sitting there in the racetrack, dead in the water.
Somebody would have hit that car, it would have been huge.
And again, we looked at that, NASCAR looked at that, and they once again wisely said, let's stop this.
Yep.
And just, we'll freeze the field when the caution flag comes out. And that's exactly what they're doing. So we see today when Kovaluk had the crash in this car, the safety crews was able to get there 20, 30 seconds faster than did last year.
All right, let's set the strategy for this race. Jamie McMurray is the new leader after a half-dozen cars pitted under this caution. Marty?
Well, if nothing else, it's been an eventful day, Blake Bainbridge, but talk to me about the pit strategy. When do you have to come down pit road, and how long can you stay out there?
Well, we need to come in and start looking about 111. We're just trying to ride it out to the next caution. He says the car's pretty good. We're just going to make some final air pressure adjustments. We got all our major stuff done earlier in the race, so it should just be 4 tires and gas.
Jamie said he almost followed Greg Biffle down pit road. That would have been a mistake for those guys. Dave?
Steve Addington is crew chief for Mike Bliss. You told Alan this morning and me this morning that you had no idea on strategy. Has it become any more apparent?
No, I believe everybody's just throwing everything in the book at the deal right now. I mean, hoping for caution laps and stuff like that. We're going to wait a little bit. I think if we get tires later on, put them on this Rockwell Automation Chevrolet, we'll be just fine. I'm proud of this race team hanging in there. We've come a long way in the last 6 weeks.
When do you have to pit by, Steve?
Around lap 160.
All right, look forward then, guys. Matt?
Now, before this caution, when it came out, discussions between Jason Leffler and Booty Barker, they were about 10 laps short. They pitted anyway. Jason is now making his way to his pit stall. They're going to top this car off with fuel, and then the game plan is just to take it easy and ride at the back and see what happens.
Jason not alone in topping off the fuel on this caution. Greg Biffle has been back in. Matt Kenseth, David Green. Marty?
I just talked to Brad Parrott. He said we cannot make it all the way. We're going to top off here and hope for some caution laps. If they catch enough, they may be able to make it all the way on fuel, but their plan right now is that they will have to stop before the end of this race to get more fuel.
Okay, about a quarter lap away from the restart. Let me reset things for you again. Got most of the cars on the lead lap did not pit under this caution. Guys who did include Greg Biffle, Jason Leffler, Matt Kenseth, David Green, Robert Presley, Ashton Lewis, and Justin Labonte, Tim Fedewa also, and Casey Mears. So they've topped off the fuel. They're going to try and go the rest of the way from here to the finish with 95 laps to go.
The only guy we didn't talk to was a 5-car. Matt, what about Kyle Busch?
BP, on their last calculations, they need to go to about lap 118. That is their window. From that point on, they are good to go.
Wow. They only run 82 laps. They must be making a lot of horsepower in that little fella.
It's a Hendrick car. Of course it's making a lot of horsepower. So Kyle Busch running second to Jamie McMurray. The guys who topped off the fuel are restarting, let's see, Greg Biffle restarted in 24th, Jason Leffler 25th. And on the restart, Jason Keller had a little wiggle and wobble and gave up 6th place to Ron Hornaday. And I'm shocked that Hornaday didn't pit that 2-car on this caution as we ride with Keller, who's in danger of giving up another spot to Martin Truex.
All of these guys are counting on another yellow.
Or two.
Or two.
Yes.
Yeah. And what I mean by Hornaday, remember he bounced off the wall and his right side fenders.
I don't think that the crew knows how much damage he did to that car because he hit that wall.
Trouble. Going up in smoke.
Mike Bliss.
Into the wall.
Easy. Right rear tire.
Okay, well, they've got their yellow.
Fortunately, they're it.
Well, I mean, everybody else has got their yellow. They're guys that were close to the 111 lap.
Things not turning too well, is it?
Yeah.
What happened to the left front fender, I think, is rubbing the tire and not allowing the left front to turn as much as you'd like for it to.
Yeah, he's got a lot of problems there.
Just we're talking about the, you know, when a water hose comes off. Same with the right rear.
Oh, yeah.
Always happens going into the corner.
Oh, yeah.
He was third. Screaming off into turn one when things went wrong for Mike Bliss.
Right rear tire goes flat. He goes up and smacks the wall with the left rear, which brings the left front down around. And the left rear damage he could probably get away with, but that left rear damage he could probably get away with. But that left front, that was too much.
Watch here, right to left side of the screen.
Just can't be a good feeling going off into the corner and having that thing start to snap around.
Yeah, going into the corner backwards is not a good feeling.
Dave?
And Mike Bliss's car in now. The damage you guys have been talking about. One of the problems is whether the fuel hose would be kinked and whether they can get fuel in it, whether the catch can man, the rear, can get the catch can in. Matt?
The 5's in, Kyle Busch. They're going to go with a 4-tire change. No adjustments. As the car gets better as he runs, although it starts out loose on entry, loose in the center, and tight off. They just said there's no way we can fix that. Just keep on riding. He's down and away. To Marty.
Well, Matt, they said lap 111. Well, this is close enough for Jamie McMurray's team. It'll be 4 tires. The car is now a little bit looser than it's been all day long getting into the corners. They're going to go down 2 rounds on the track bar, trying to tighten them up. 4-tire stop. This is Rusty Wallace's Nextel Cup pit crew pitting this car. A lot of cars in front of him on pit road. Jamie revs the engine a little longer on the left front than they would like. They probably dropped the jack. There he goes, but he lost a lot of cars, a lot of track position.
20.2 seconds. Yeah, that's. You just got to stop and change those 4 tires in about 15 seconds if you're going to maintain your position on the racetrack.
Well, we got another set of strategies for me to try and explain for you when we come back.
TNT Monday, an all-new episode of The Grid.
Our team is the best way to do the job.
Our cell versus their cell. Who gave you the assignment?
New Hampshire International Speedway and NASCAR on TNT with some more twists of plot for you in today's race. We saw something on that last caution flag that caught Benny's eye.
Greg Biffle is running in the 4th spot. He sees the trouble. He starts to slow down, and that's the right front tire that he's sliding, isn't it, Wally?
Yeah, he smoked that right front pretty good.
Well,
what's this?
He had the flat spot the tire.
One guy had trouble there. I can't tell who it was. About 4th of line, and it just accordion all the way back.
That was Kevin LePage in the 72 car that Biffle's able to get by, and he comes up on the back of the 23.
I think it was Steve Grissom in 24, Wally.
I don't know if he missed a shift or what, but you could see everybody react behind him.
And a big old jam. Okay, a couple things here.
You better hurry.
Here we go. Martin Truex, championship leader, pitted on that last caution, called back in again. Marty, what happened?
Alan, they had left one lug nut loose on the left front. They had to come back. You get the lug nut. They had just gotten back up to 7th from the last time they had to come down pit road to serve a penalty. Now they got to go back through the field again.
Yeah, he's back in 29th now. A lot of guys pitted on that last caution. The group that stopped on the caution before did not, like Greg Biffle, Matt Kenseth, David Green, so on. Kenny Wallace, Joe Nemechek did not stop. Nemechek last pitted at lap 66. So we haven't seen the last of him on pit road today. Kenny Wallace, though, we all feel pretty confident he's trying to go to the finish on fuel from when he stopped at lap 91.
Yeah, they jacked the car up to put fuel in it, so they pretty much are going the rest of the way.
And you would think that Greg Biffle, with the speed that we've seen in that 60 car previously today, he's not up there challenging for the lead. My question, is he feeling maybe a flat spot in that right front tire and taking it easy on that tire?
Here are some of the guys who pitted. Kyle Busch coming through in the 5. There's Bobby Hamilton Jr. in the 25. Jason Leffler, he stopped at 104 and topped off the fuel. Came back in again at 109 and topped off the fuel there on that last caution.
Marty, what about Greg Biffle? Is he feeling a flat spot, or what's the deal?
Yeah, good job, Professor. He just came on the radio, said that right front just has no rubber left in it. Why they didn't come back down pit road after they flat spotted that right front? They're out of tires. They can't change any more tires today.
Well, they can't put new tires.
And for the lead, Kenny Wallace after Joe Nemechek. Boy, his season's been a struggle for Kenny Wallace in that 23 car. Best finish this season, a 6th place at Talladega. He's finished 25th or worse the last 4 straight races. Trying to get it turned around, and they've played their strategy right to get up front. And now he's fighting for the lead with Nemechek.
As Biffle closes in.
Clunk, 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 yeah.
Biffle may just get both of them.
As I say, Kenny just can't finish the pass.
I think that right now, well, there we see Biffle on the inside of the 23 car. Careful, boys. I think the 23 car is faster than the 87 if, you know, they're on opposite ends of the racetrack, but being faster and passing is 2 different things.
Let's talk Joe Nemechek for a second. If he last stopped at 66, he's got to come back in again. He's got another set of tires. They're obviously going to try and make the late run through the pack on fresh tires play.
Be great if he does it under yellow.
But this, I mean, Nemechek has lost.
If he comes in now,
he can't make his way back to all these cars that are going to stay on the racetrack. Matt, looks like the 87 guys might have made a mistake. What are they thinking?
Well, let's check in with Brian Petty. So many times, Brian, you've rolled the dice and come up with a victory. How about today?
It'd be nice to finish up here at Nemco with a win, but to see. I mean, that's the only car that got left. He said he should have probably followed him in the pits, but didn't, so it's no big deal. We can go to like 165 on gas, so it's no big deal. The way the cautions have been falling, see what happens.
Now, this is your last race together with Joe. You guys have so much history, so many good times and bad times. Some of your thoughts as you go here with your final race with Joe.
I mean, it's family. You know, we're still best friends when the deal's all said and done. Thanksgiving and Christmas will still be the same. It's just time for a change. I mean, Chip Ganassi and Andy Graves give me a heck of an opportunity down there to run their Busch operation.
That would be trouble. David Green that turned around in traffic, and Stanton Barrett, who caught the wall in the 91, and the caution flag is out.
Well, that's what Joe needed.
That's tough for Stanton.
Now he's got 80 laps to try to work his way back to, but you know that when we go back and show a replay of the 37 car, and hopefully we have that, you're going to see just how fighting your way back through the traffic, how difficult it is. He was in a mess of cars. What, 10 or 15 cars down there?
David Green, defending winner of this race in the 37. If we take a look at what happened, he's racing Steve Grissom there in the 24.
Leffler's 00 right behind him, and look at all this group of cars right behind. Some contact there between the 00 and the 37. And look at all these cars.
Wow. Did you see Jason Keller make it through there?
And Casey Kane somehow got in the side of Stanton Barrett, the 91, and kind of forced Barrett up in the outside retaining wall. He somehow made it.
Watch the 22. Red and white car going to come through here. Bullseye, bullseye, bullseye. Yo,
that was close.
Wow, Stanton.
Casey Kane had to go high, but Stanton was a little bit higher.
Oh, this will be a good view.
See how close this is.
Buddy, a lot of these guys are holding us up. When you get to them, drive on. Stay up.
You feel that?
Come on.
That was close.
You're good. You're good. Awesome job, JK.
Keith Barnwell talking to Jason Keller from the spotter stand. I got a feel for Stanton. The stuntman Stan here says he spent the last 2.5 months not in the movie sets, but just trying to get this race team going. He's changed some personnel, trying to find sponsorship, additional funding, and that kind of thing. He came out here this weekend, and now he's got a wrecked race car.
Right now, pit road is still closed because of the Stanton Barrett cars at the end of the exit of pit road, so they can't pit and make their changes and leave pit road right now. So that's why NASCAR has closed.
Just to follow up on Matt Yoakum's story, Brian Patty is leaving to go run a NASCAR Busch Series team for Ganassi Racing. He is from the Lakeland, Florida area like Joe Nemechek. They've spent basically their entire careers together. It's a big move for Brian to leave that team. Stan Barrett out of his car trying to figure out what in the world happened up there. Or waiting to have a chat with someone.
Yeah, that's probably the wisest thing you can do is just
take a ride, cool off, figure it out, watch the replays. Then you can go chat about it. David Green gets spun around. Caution is out for the 7th time here at New Hampshire International Speedway with 78 laps to go.
Wherever you go, you've got NASCAR news, stats, and live racing on your phone or online with exclusive content on AOL.
National Speedway, NASCAR on TNT. Joe Nemechek, the leader, is on pit road along with about a dozen other cars. That's Nemechek in the red hooded machine coming at you left of the screen, leaving after his service.
Casey Kane, the dark car, following Nemechek down pit road.
Now the trick is, where will that 87 restart with his fresh tires and 74 laps to go? Marty, sum up with Greg Biffle.
Well, Alan, you should hear the impassioned plea from Greg Biffle trying to get an extra set of actually left side tires. The left front is what is flat spotted. That's what they're worried about. The rule is that you cannot have an extra set of tires. Flat spot tires belong to the team, basically, so you have to leave it on there, and they're out of tires to take. So if they take tires, it's a 1-lap penalty, but he's begging for a set of tires saying, I'm going to wreck. That's what's going to happen. This tire's going to go flat, I'm going to wreck, and then there's going to be a caution, and I'm going to be in trouble. So he's begging for a set of tires. I don't think he's going to get it, but I think they are still going to come down pit road and put on at least left side tires on Greg Biffle's car, and he will give up second spot to do that.
And you mean do it on the green flag?
And do it on the green flag. Exactly right, BP.
Yeah, let me just clarify the rule. In the NASCAR Busch Series, to help save money, NASCAR limits the number of tires teams can change under the caution flag. Today, they're only allowed to change tires twice under the yellow, and that's twice per position. So left front can be changed twice under the yellow. Biffle can come down pit road and take that fresh tire under the green if he wants to, but he'll pay the penalty competition-wise.
Because they'll lap him while he's on pit road. They'll easily make a lap while he does that.
Would you do it if you had a flat spotted left side tire? Would you
I think if you really knew it was flat spot, yep. And then if the yellow comes out, you're the lucky dog, and you may be back in it. Marty?
Well, and also I think if you feel like you're in danger, and I think Greg honestly does. I mean, just hearing his voice on the radio, he's very honest. You know, I think this car eventually will wreck. What they're going to do is try and take the green flag on pit road and cross the start-finish line then and take it under the first lap that they go back to green. That's the plan as of right now, but now they're putting up the signboard, so maybe he's going to stick it out. I guess he is.
Yeah, you have to take the green on the racetrack. So he would have to take the green like he did and then come on pit road next time by. So the restart with 73 laps to go. New leaders Kenny Wallace. And Joe Nemechek is back in 20th place after giving up the lead for his tires. Let's see if Greg Biffle comes to pit road here.
No, he's not coming to pit road.
Yeah, see, I didn't think he would either. Because you know, I mean, come on, you wouldn't come on pit road.
It just depends on how bad the tire was. If the tire's really vibrating, you think the tire's going to blow, you better get your butt in pit road and get the tire changed, because it will blow.
And yes, they've installed safer barriers here, but you still hit hard, and you also destroy a race car.
But on the other hand, you're gonna politic and complain, and please give me a set of tires.
I stand by my statement. Your competitive nature would win out, and if you were in Greg Biffle's spot, you'd be doing just what he's doing. You'd be staying on the racetrack. Marty?
I thought the Democratic National Convention didn't start until tomorrow in Boston, but you did a pretty good job politicking, Brad, for that extra left set of tires.
Well, NASCAR's got rules, and we got to go by them. And it's a safety issue, but also advantage tires. And we do what the rules say. We commend NASCAR for putting the rule book out. We're doing the best job we can. The bad thing about it is I don't think I can make it on gas, and I got to do anything I can to get the tires and gas at the same time. But the Charter Communication team's doing awesome, and it's these guys in the white suit I love to death because they're awesome.
And the white suit guys would be the NASCAR officials. Matt?
The guy, Marty, with clear track out front. Your car, Chris Rice and Kenny Wallace, can you make it on fuel, though you last pitted lap 93?
Well, you know, it's pretty close, but I got Kenny Wallace, and that means a lot.
I got good news for you. We've got a crash on the racetrack. There's a possible yellow out. Not yet. He's hoping for a yellow, though.
That was Casey Atwood. No caution yet. And a change for second place.
Casey Mears in the 1 car goes by Biffle.
Let's see if Casey Atwood's able to get his car off the track.
Come on in now.
Now here's Brad Parrish trying to call him in case the 14 car drops debris and brings out the caution.
Right. This is a good move right here.
They're watching the 14 car limp around the racetrack. He's on pit road now, so if the caution comes out, that's a legal green flag stop, and he can take his tires and go.
But Casey Atwood is still moving down the backstretch. Marty.
Oh, the pit strategy, BP. They're going to put left side tires only for Greg Biffle right now. They're going to pull that left front off, the one they've been worried about the entire time. Get him out as soon as they can. Biffle hits it as hard as he can. Heads back out on the racetrack.
No caution. And here comes the leader, Kenny Wallace. Watch Greg Biffle try and hustle this thing on the apron of 1 and 2. He's got to stay below that yellow line until he gets around there.
All right, now.
I still think it was a good call. I mean, if yellow comes out, he's the lucky dog. He's got fresh tires on. He may be able to pass Kenny Wallace, get back on the lead lap.
Okay, so Greg Biffle is back in 27th place, and he's going to be the first and actually only car 1 lap down. Meanwhile, Casey Atwood. Dave?
Yeah, and it ruins the top 10, Alan. He was running pretty good. Kind of like it was at Milwaukee. He had a great day there until an early wreck. So, Casey Atwood, the changing right side tires, trying to get that right front damage so they can send him out and pick up some points.
That's too bad for Casey. Okay, we were talking Kenny Wallace, weren't we, Matt Yoakum?
We were, AB, and talking to Chris Rice. You didn't get the caution you thought might come out. Can you make it the distance without stopping again?
Well, it's tough to hear you, but I think you said, can we make it? Well, with God, we can. You know, we got Kenny Wallace stacked 2 teams, done a good job. We had a rough day yesterday. We qualified 35th, brakes locking up, everything happening, but, you know, I think we can make it. We get another couple of cautions, I think we can make it. You know, if we get a top 5, that's great. We get a win, that'd be great for Bill Davis Racing, but we've been struggling.
I counted at least 2 I thinks in there, BP.
Yeah, exactly. And I think there's going to be in trouble. And check this out. Here comes Timmy Fedewa. Yikes. In that 12 car. Watch him drive under Biffle and just kind of go by him and kind of move his shoulder past him as he goes by.
Casey Mears was using up Biffle, too, on that last deal, trying to get by him. They were banging on each other all the way down the straightaway.
Well, here's, and we still got a lot of mixing up for position here. This is Kenseth in 4th in the 17. Kyle Busch in 5th in the 5. Bobby Hamilton Jr. trying to take that from him in the 25.
I tell you what, that 60 car did not like those left sides, Wally, for some reason.
Yeah, at this point, he's having a hard time. It looks like he's loose getting off the corner a couple times there, getting off of turn 4.
Okay, just a quick thought on the thing with Casey Mears trying to get by. He's watching Kenny Wallace sail off the distance while the lap car of Biffle's between himself and the leader.
Absolutely.
Oh, he is.
I mean, I'm not saying he did anything wrong. He's just not wanting to get hung up behind a guy that's a lap down.
62 laps to go. Who's got fuel to the finish? Tires. How will the fresher tires back in the pack play out in the final laps? Stick around. A different color yellow is at the front at New Hampshire International Speedway. As we come back live on TNT, it is Casey Mears in James Finch's yellow transportation sponsored machine that just took the lead away from Kenny Wallace.
Boy, like you said, Alan, yellow just went by like that. I mean, caught the 23 car of Kenny Wallace and passed him, no problem. Looks like Kenny slipped back a little bit. BP's probably feeling it now.
Matt Kenseth, the 17 car, goes by, takes over the 2nd spot, and Fedewa and Bobby Hamilton Jr. the 25 car right behind Kenny Wallace.
Yeah, the 25 car on the times here on our board been one of the fastest cars out there. So here come the Marines.
And remember, he started at the back of the field after changing an engine this morning, then had a spark plug wire off in the opening laps. He was running on 7 cylinders. They came down pit road on a lap 31 caution, fixed it, and he's come all the way back up through the field despite all the strategies and all the rest that have been played out. And he just took a spot away from Kenny Wallace there. That had put him up to 4th place. You know, we've been been trying to do this through the field thing for about an hour, folks, and every time we do, the caution flag has come out. So we're going to try it again and see what happens. Marty, you're first with the leader.
There's been a lot to keep up with down here, Alan. Let me just tell you that at lap 147 now, Casey Mears going very well through the field. The car has been very good today, just a little bit tight. They topped off on lap 105 and can make it all the way to the end, Matt.
On our 2 previous attempts to do it through the field, I would have told you Matt Kenseth was tight. Guess what? He is still tight, but the car is better, and he's good to go on fuel, Dave.
Tim Fedewa running at the side of his only Busch Series win from the pole. Likes to run well here on the last stop, lap 108. Track bar adjustment because the car was tight. He can go the distance. Marty?
Dave, how about this comeback for Bobby Hamilton Jr.? He's going to take that 3rd position from Timmy Fedewa. The car has been excellent since they got the plug wire back on. They had one bad pit stop that put him back in the field, but just a little bit tight. Car running well now. Matt?
Kenny Wallace has faded back to 5th, telling his crew chief Chris Rice the car is getting tighter and tighter with every lap we've run. He's trying to hold on to a top 5 finish, but the 0-0 of Jason Leffler is slowly closing. Remember, we told you earlier, his car was very strong, but they had to play the fuel mileage game, trying to come back in and top off. He's knocking on the door of the top 5. Meanwhile, the 5 of Kyle Busch had a vibration earlier in the race. They are good to go on fuel, trying to make a big picture day out of it because of the 8 cars earlier troubles. The 22, Jason Keller, strong run of the points.
Hang on there, Matty. Here's a challenge for the lead. It's Matt Kenseth in 17, working on Casey Mears in the 1.
And Kenseth the last couple laps has been about a 1/4 of a second faster than Casey Mears in the 1. Watch this. He just drives under him. Almost gets by.
Not so fast. Matt Kenseth started today 21st. He pitted at lap 99. And again, let's see, do I have him after 99? I don't have him after 99. So he's trying to get to the finish on fuel from there. Let me double check my notes here.
Catching and passing, 2 different things, BP. He caught that car of Casey Mears real quick, but...
And watch how much lower he runs on the racetrack than Casey Mears. Off turn 4 especially, he goes down almost to the yellow line. Talking about the 17 of Matt Kenseth.
It was lap 99 when he last pitted, so he's trying to run 101 laps on fuel.
I got there. Just gave it that little bit of gas that he needed.
So new leader Matt Kenseth is out in front. Now we check back on the race for 5th place. Jason Leffler 0-0. Kenny Wallace 23. And Kenny's going to get shuffled here.
Oh, what was that that flew off?
No, something flew off. Jason Keller goes by on the 22, and Kenny's trying to get down to the bottom of the inside.
Boy, that's frustrating too. When you're in Kenny's position right there, you're doing everything you can to hang on to that car and sliding, and you look up in the mirror and you see all these cars, and you know there's nothing you can do. You're just sitting up there, and they're driving away.
Jamie McMurray in 66 by. Here comes Truex Jr. in the 8 by. And Kevin Harvick next in line in the 21 to try and fill that inside lane. So Kenny Wallace is going to go from leading this thing back to possibly being in 11th spot here in a couple of more laps. That's too bad.
Now here comes Hamilton Jr. in that 25 car. So it may be Kenseth and Hamilton Jr. the 25. 2 cars are almost identical in speed.
I think if Hamilton Jr. gets by Casey here in that yellow car, he could run down Matt Kenseth.
Well, this is just going to be one of those days where going through the field is tough because just too much going on. And 47 laps to go. The leader's Matt Kenseth. Here comes Bobby Hamilton Jr. trying to get second away from Casey Mears. Looks like he's got a fast enough car to stay with Matt Kenseth. Can he run him down? Can he pass him? Will they all have enough fuel to get to the checkered flag?
But while he's racing him right now, Matt's driving away.
Well, he's loving this, talking about the 17. As he looks up in the rearview mirror and sees these guys battling, he says, yes, because I can slow down, I can save fuel, I can do whatever.
But that little flatter groove.
There's that slide job.
And he got
it worked.
The car's just been terrific, and it's, remember, he took fuel only on his last pit stop. The one thing I didn't tell you through the field, they are 4 laps short from making it all the way, so they need more caution laps.
Yeah, a problem.
A little more drama.
45 to go here at New Hampshire International Speedway. Matt Kenseth, the leader. You're watching NASCAR on TNT.
It's our latest.
Some things going on here live at New Hampshire International Speedway with the NASCAR Busch Series on TNT. 39 laps to go. Matt Kenseth, the leader. Bobby Hamilton Jr. second. Hamilton Jr. is faster than Kenseth. And do any of them have enough fuel to make it to the checkered flag?
Very, very good question.
Let's go back and check on a race for 7th spot. Kyle Busch in the 5, trying to hold off Jamie McMurray in the 66. With Martin Truex Jr. coming back from 2 penalties, trips down pit road. I shouldn't call one of them penalties, but 2 extra trips down pit road because of problems on the pit lane during stops. And he's gone to the back of the field twice, and he's back into the top 10. And so McMurray is through. Don't forget the rusty wallet. Oh, trouble. He's not through anymore.
Got tagged by the 5 car.
Caution flags out. A race for 7th place gone bad for Jamie McMurray.
What happened there?
And so caution number 8 waves over this race with 37 laps to go.
Now that certainly might have helped Matt Kenseth. Bobby Hamilton, Casey Mears, those guys that might not be able to make it on fuel. And we see right front tire flat on the NASCAR Busch Series points leader.
Stay on the lead lap, man. Let's come in here.
Yep.
Guys, get your sawzalls ready.
When that tire comes apart, it's going to do some damage.
And it's coming apart.
Check it out. This was a race for 7th spot off turn 2.
McMurray was clear of him. He may have gotten a little bit loose jumping on the throttle. Had to check up.
And the 8 drove right into the wall, trying to keep from running into the back of the 5. Truex just, saw the 5 slowing up in front of him, and natural reaction, it looks like. See what you think here.
Yeah, watch the 8 car go up and pound the wall. With Mark Truex.
Watch in front of you. Watch right here in front of you. Keep digging. How you doing? Did you hit anything?
Just the wall.
Unfortunately. Yes. So.
And that tire came apart and did just what we were talking about. That's a problem with trying to stay on the lead lap.
Change your right rear unless it's flat.
You're trying to stay out there on the racetrack, and the tire just rips the car apart.
We just talked about how Truex Jr. had come from the back of the pack twice to get into the top 10. And Marty, he's got bigger problems than that now.
Yeah, he came from the back to the front twice. Like you said, Alan, this past time he had restarted 26. They can only change the right front tire because that's the only one that's flat, and they're out of tires. Kevin Mannion asked him right afterwards, did you hit anything? He said, I just pounded the wall, and that's the result of it. The right front fender torn up, and they replaced the right front tire as well.
Jamie McMurray on pit road just ahead of Truex, you see. Both of them trying to get off of pit lane because the pace car's coming to see if they can stay on the lead lap. Another twist here at New Hampshire International Speedway. Don't go away. This finish could be wild.
Did he do
Cleaning up from caution brought out when Jamie McMurray got around into the turn 2 wall. Martin Truex also into the wall over there. You see they've got the jet blowers out on track to try and clean up some of the rubber marbles and things in the upper lane. So we'll have a couple of more laps of yellow.
And folks, there is something missing. The 25 car.
He's not behind Matt Kenseth in 2nd place.
Made a pit stop.
And it's going to put him all the way back to 20th place. You see the car in 2nd place. The purple car there, that's Tim Fedewa. We're going to give the nod in his direction for our Just for Men rejuvenating moment of the race. This was back at lap 78.
He gets a little tap from behind by Paul Menard in the 11 car. Around he goes, but luckily no one hit him. He gassed it, goes
goes on, and now he's in second spot with just 32 laps to go.
His pit crew brought him in for a stop at lap 104. He hasn't been in again since. The track position he's put to good use. And Tim Fedewa, with a temporary crew chief, Dave, is up in second place.
Well, that's right. Gary Coxwell had taken a position with Richard Childress. That didn't work out. You're back here. Your car's pretty good. Aren't you glad you're back?
Well, I'm having a lot of fun. We started out and we were terrible. We stopped a lot of times early on in the race. Wedge out and track bar up about a mile and a rubber in and air out. And then worked out well for us to get some track position there about lap 100. And we might get passed by a couple more cars, but I think we'll have a good finish out of all this when it's done.
Gary's been doing this a long time and got Fedewa where he needs him to be. Marty?
From second to 20th, Harold Holly, why did you have to make Bobby Hamilton Jr. come down pit road?
Well, we were going to be about 2 laps short, even with these caution laps right here. And I mean, we'd have gambled on a little over 22 gallons, we might have been able to make it. But, you know, as flat as the track is here, it's just a big chance to take. As much as this team's been through and everything else, we need a solid finish. I mean, we need to win big time, but we got to finish too. So I chose a conservative way to go. That may not win the race, but we'll finish.
Matt?
And Lance McGrew, first off, what did Kyle say to you about the radio concerning the incident?
Well, he said he was just trying to do the old Earnhardt crossover move on him, and he got under him, and he got back, turned underneath him, and it's like the 66 got out by the wall and got tight and had to check up, and he said I just couldn't get off of him.
Your car was starting to fade a little bit there. His tires worn out, or just this set not working well with the car?
Just this set, I put on a set of scuffs, and it's just not liking them for some reason, so we're just trying to hang on. I hate it for those guys.
Big picture day here in the 5 camp.
After pit stops, Jamie McMurray is 23rd. Martin Truex Jr. is 25th on the lead lap. And Kyle Busch is running 5th. So you see, as they run, Kyle Busch would become the new NASCAR Busch Series championship leader at the end of the day. But we got 30 laps to go, and anything can happen. Of note, Greg Biffle in the 60 was not the first car lap down when the caution came out, so he did not get the lucky dog pass. Somebody had been overtaken by the leader, David Green. He got the free pass.
As a matter of fact, Greg Biffle was on pit road when the caution flag came out, but he was able to go down pit road and save one of his laps. He should be 2 down, but he was able to save one of them.
And so Matt Kenseth, Tim Fedewa, Jason Leffler, Jason Keller, and Kyle Busch are the top 5. Bobby Hamilton Jr. restarted 20th with the 30 laps to go. And we go on board with Jason Keller as he tries to deal with the lap traffic. Tell you what, it's been a very solid, quiet last month or two for Jason Keller in that 22 car after they kind of struggled to start the season. They have 3 top 5s in the last 4 races, including a second-place finish at Chicago where he got second at the finish line. Matt, they're starting to get this thing pointed back in the right direction.
Definitely have turned the corner. They've been working on a tight condition most of the day, and like you mentioned, a 5th, a 3rd, and 18th, and a 2nd to last 4. With the last caution, they are good to go on fuel, just trying to score another top 5. That top 5 in Chicago, the 2nd, their season's best finish, really jumped them up in the points.
Jason just turned the fastest lap right there. He was the fastest that last lap. So
Keller 3rd in the NASCAR Busch Series championship standings. So Tim Fedewa trying to hang with Matt Kenseth. Maybe do something with him.
I was going to say, looks like Tim Fedewa is catching Matt Kenseth, not just hanging with him.
Kenseth, the NASCAR Busch Series winner at Texas Motor Speedway earlier this season. Kenseth has never won in Busch Series competition here in New Hampshire. Remember the streak, 17 races, 17 faces at this track. Fedewa has won here before. Kenseth has not. Jason Leffler has not. Jason Keller has. So out of the top 4, got 2 from each class.
And last lap, Jason Keller was quicker than the top 3 cars, and as a matter of fact, ran almost as fast as he'd run all day long.
Leffler, 0-0. Trying to work on Fedewa for 2nd. And not able to do anything with him there. Got one more green flag break to get in before the finish, so let's do that now. And we'll come back and see what happens. Matt Kenseth, the leader of the Siemens 200 at New Hampshire. Speedway. Caution is out for the 9th time. Joe Nemechek got in trouble down in turn 1. Took a piece of Casey Mears and Greg Biffle along with him.
Looks like he got in there a little too hot. BP, he was trying to keep the car off of Stacy Comp. Is that?
Yes, Stacy.
And then all of a sudden he just, boy, he did everything he could to stay off him.
He spins around. The one car decides to go high. Biffle decides to go with him. And both cars hit Joe Nemechek. Paul Wolf was able to squeeze between Nemechek and the wall, not hit him.
Joe's car wasn't tore up until that. Gets into him a little bit. Casey Mears is going to gas it, try to squeeze through, and
wrong place, wrong time.
Or wrong place, right time. Man, we've seen so many cars spin out trying to get in the corner here today.
man, they got clobbered.
All the bits and pieces flying. This is from Mike Wallace.
Mike did the right thing. He went low.
Sit, roll over. Good boy.
Did you get a treat when the race is over, too? Nemechek in, getting damage repaired on his car. Greg Biffle is in also, and he's being held by NASCAR officials. They took more tires than they are allowed to take, and that's going to cost him some laps. There is Biffle's car. They came in. The left front was flat. They changed all 4 tires. So that's 3 extra tires over the limit you're allowed to change under the caution. That's going to be a 3-lap penalty. 1 lap per tire. So that'll cost him. Biffle was 6th in the Busch Series Championship standings coming into today.
Okay, 1 to go.
So that'll give us a restart with 18 to go. So is there maybe a little more to this prior to what we saw?
There always is. I don't know. Looked like Stacy got a little bit loose getting off of 4, and Joe just crossed underneath him. But Joe did everything he could right there to not spin out Stacy Compton. So
All right, so after the damage repair, Joe Nemechek is back in 24th place. Casey Mears 25th. Check that the other way around. Casey 24th, Joe 25th. They will be the last 2 on the lead lap. And we'll get set to try this again. Bobby Hamilton Jr. only made his way back up to 14th so far. Remember, he pitted earlier because they were going to be short on fuel. Wanted to play it conservatively. Martin Truex Jr., the championship leaders, in 18th.
Oh, no!
Oh, no! Big mess on the restart. Jason Keller and Kyle Busch, the 4th and 5th place cars.
Easy, guys, easy.
That is unbelievable.
And for the lead.
The caution flag is out.
Caution is out.
Oh, my goodness. I mean, Jason Keller, how it's so
Such a good run, yep.
And Kyle Busch was going to gain some points on Truex Jr. in the chase for the NASCAR Busch Series Championship. And
Kyle was trying to anticipate the start and got it wrong.
I hate it when that happens.
I wasn't kidding earlier when I said don't go away because you never know what might happen in this thing.
We weren't.
Yeah. So the caution comes out now for the 10th time. Damage to the nose of the 5.
I'm pretty sure Jason gassed it too to make sure he got a piece of Kyle when he was going by.
Oh, that's just too bad.
Let's see.
That's all it was.
Now, let me ask you this. If we see that same look again, you watch, see if Jason didn't have to jump on the brakes to keep from running over the 00 in front of him.
He might have.
Like the line bottled up in front, the leader maybe, you know.
All right, well, let's take a look at the car in front of Jason.
Well, maybe not.
They were kind of rolling.
It looks like all 3 of those cars are rolling about the same speed.
Okay.
Now, this may be a good shot. Oh, I love this shot.
See, look at him accordion.
Yeah, they did accordion a little bit.
Jason jabbed the brakes a little bit, and Kyle didn't.
Yeah.
This will be a good look.
Oh, yeah.
It gets better and better.
Green flag.
It looks different from there.
Yeah.
The end result is the same.
Come on.
It's really ugly from here.
Green flag. Check it up in front of you. Come on. No caution. Keep coming.
There is a black flag being shown to Kyle Busch for aggressive driving.
22 on the left.
Well, you know, on board with Jason Keller, the engine never changed pitches. He didn't go accelerating and then back off.
Right, exactly.
So Jason Keller's crew goes to work. Probably Kyle Busch's crew goes to arguing. And we'll go to commercial and come back to New Hampshire in a minute. Just back, just under green, and a challenge for the lead. Tim Fedewa on the 12, working on Matt Kenseth in the 17.
And I'll tell you what, Tim Fedewa is driving the wheels off that car right now. He's had that thing, everything but straight the last half lap.
And Jason Leffler in 0-0, he was thinking about making 3 wide off turn 4. Here he goes on the inside of the field. No. It is 3 wide, 2 wide.
13 laps to go. Kyle Busch has just rejoined the race, penalized a lap by NASCAR. He's in 25th place. Martin Truex, his rival for the championship, is in 14th. So what looked like a big point swing in Kyle's favor a little while ago has now gone back the other way. And up front, they're still racing for the win.
Casey Kane is in 4th spot, the black 38 car. Harvick in 5th and 21.
It has been back to Harvick and Kane. We haven't really talked about Casey much at all today, have we?
No.
Except when he got that left rear quarter torn up a little bit early in the race. And with all the caution flag laps we've had lately, pretty much we've taken the fuel to the finish out of the equation for everybody.
Yeah, I think everybody can go, and everybody's driving as hard as they can right now. Matt Kenseth is looking in the mirror probably about 20 times a lap.
How about 38 there, Dave?
Yeah, they struggled early on. Casey had an extremely tight race car. Maybe there's been some buildup on one of his tires, and they pitted late enough for fuel only that they can go the distance, and they've got the tight condition fixed.
The only guy that I'm really concerned about is the fellow running back in 7th spot, Kenny Wallace. I mean, they're asking to run that car an awfully long ways on fuel, about 105 laps or something.
How about Kevin Harvick, another name we haven't talked a lot about today, Dave?
And his guys have been saying as the others have fallen out in front of him, well, there's one more position. His car was a little bit loose when he pitted on lap 108. They made a track bar adjustment. It's still a little bit loose, but Kevin can drive it and maybe even pass Kane.
Here he comes.
Driving in deep. And they both drove it in pretty deep. Man, it looks like they're going to wreck when you look at that angle.
Driving it deep as long as you get it stopped before you run into the other guy, right?
Harvick is sliding that thing all over the place right now.
When you see these cars go in the corner, that front bumper, front air dam just almost slams the racetrack. That means they're really driving that thing in hard and slamming on the brakes.
That's the race for 4th place. Up front, you see Fedewa not able to keep the heat on Matt Kenseth for the lead. And coming from behind to try and join these two, remember Ron Hornaday? At the opening 41 laps of this race. Got into the wall, a little damage on the right side. Got it fixed, back through the traffic, and he's back up trying to get a top 5 finish.
Now, did you say that Kenseth has never won a race here in New Hampshire?
Not a NASCAR Busch Series race, no. Best finish 3rd.
And how many?
17 races, 17 faces. This is race number 18.
You're kidding. That's amazing. No one has been able to win here twice.
And there are 7 drivers in the race today that are former winners here. I'll tell you, you got to feel for Tim Fedewa. Here's a guy, it's been a little over 4 years since he won a NASCAR Busch Series race. He was here in New Hampshire May 2000 when he got his last win, and he spent a chunk of that time not in a race car. Remember a year ago, before he picked up this ride, he was spotting for Bill Elliott for the Ray Evernham team. Said it really gave him a perspective, a different perspective on racing, watching the races unfold from atop the stand, listening to the crew chiefs and the driver interact. Here's a guy whose family, his whole background revolves around going fast and turning left. Grandfather, uncles, fathers, cousins, brothers.
He's doing a good job now, driving that car hard.
All the feed was out of the Michigan area, up around Lansing, Detroit. Dave, how about the 12 car?
Well, coming into today, BP, he was the highest running car in the points, 13th, without a top 5. That should change.
Yeah. You know what Tim likes to do in his spare time? Cook.
Yeah, that's right. I've heard that he does enjoy cooking.
He actually went to a cooking school to learn how to cook fine foods. And they say when you're around the Fido household and Tim's in the kitchen, it's going to be a fine meal.
When it comes to that, I'm a consumer, not a manufacturer.
Yeah. Maybe he'll cook up some lobsters for us tonight.
Maybe he will. We'll have to talk to him about that. I'll tell you what, now we're getting down to it with 5 laps to go. All the fuel situation comes into play, and still, if there's a caution flag in the next 3 or 4 laps, green, white checker.
Matt Kenseth right now is stretching it. Fastest car on the track, so unless he runs out of fuel.
Matt Kenseth has run 6 NASCAR Busch Series races in 2004. He's got 4 top 6 finishes in those 6 races. Led 4, led the most laps in 2. 6th at Las Vegas, 4th in California.
And Matt Kenseth, the last lap, ran almost as he did run his fastest lap of the day.
How about the 17 car, Matt?
Well, good news. The 17, I talked to his crew chief, Cully, told me they are good to go on fuel. Also, Benny, you were asking about the 23 Kenny Wallace. He's good to go on fuel. The problem, the left front is on the cords.
Only has to hang on 2 more laps.
So Matt Kenseth trying to come around a couple of more circuits to pick up what would be his 2nd NASCAR Busch Series win of this season.
He's got a half lap to go because he'll get the white flag next time by. And once he receives the white, it's over. The caution flag can come out for a problem, but the race will be over.
Yeah, it's over if there's a caution flag.
Yes.
No caution flag, he's got another lap to race, and anything can happen, as we've seen today. Final circuit for Matt Kenseth. The NASCAR Nextel Cup Series champion from 2003 starts 31st tomorrow. That's not much of a problem generally for Matt. Would be his usual MO. Kenseth took the lead at lap 151 of this race. And he's going to lead the rest of the way despite a strong challenge on a couple of late restarts to pick up his 2nd win of 2004. Kenseth wins New Hampshire, 18 faces in 18 NASCAR Busch Series races here.
And Bobby Hamilton Jr. goes by Mike Wallace coming off turn 4 for the checkered flag.
9th spot.
Hey, Matt, this is Brad. Good job, man. Don't forget to knock anything off that roof there, hero.
Already the victory lane instructions from the team. Matt Kenseth pitted at lap 104 and had enough fuel on board to go the rest of the way.
Look how clean that car is.
Looks like he just rolled off the showroom floor.
And he's about to do the old victory burnout. How about our mobile command performance for Matt Kenseth today? Look at that crowd, too.
That right front's going to be flat spotted.
Toast.
That was a Saturday burnout.
No, that was not a mobile command performance. The win was.
Yeah.
As burnouts go, that was average. Or maybe even weak.
I'd go with that.
16th career NASCAR Busch Series victory for Matt Kenseth. And we'll be back to New Hampshire in a minute to hear from the race winner and give you the finishing order from today's race.
How many inches is it to rock bottom when men change their oil not with the wrench but with the credit card? That dipstick also plumbs the level of one's manhood. Bless you, brother. for another 3,000 miles. You've topped off your commitment to the high life.
Your car has many natural enemies. One is rather surprising. Startup. The critical time when engine wear is more severe. Now there's new Castrol GTX Startup with unique polarized molecules for advanced startup protection. Now there's help with one enemy. The others, you're on your own. New Castrol GTX Startup. Protection from the moment you turn the key.
Back in New Hampshire, and the post-race festivities have begun, Dave.
Well, and obviously not festivities in a victory sense for Kyle Busch, but Kyle, how do you feel about the way you were penalized for what happened out there? Not a word from him. Keeping his mouth shut right now, guys. He'll think about it, I'm sure, and have a word for us at some point.
That would be a no comment. This is what happened when Kyle got out of his car. They park all the Busch Series cars on the pit road, and the crews and the drivers were all in close proximity, and it got tense. And there's Kyle exiting his car and being chased.
And really and truly, that's probably the best thing he could do. What happened on a restart? We see the 5 car get in the back of Jason Keller and knock Keller into the wall.
And earlier in the race, the 5 car got in the back of the 66 car of Jamie McMurray and was a wreck.
For that incident there, NASCAR penalized the 5 car for aggressive driving, and he finishes the race 1 lap down.
Right, the first deal they figured was just a racing incident, but that one they felt could have been avoided.
Our winner, Matt Kenseth, has made his way to Hershey's Victory Lane. Our Hershey's Victory Lane interview, and it would be Marty Snyder.
And for the 16th time in his Busch Series career, and for the 2nd time this year, Matt Kenseth comes to Victory Lane. The first one this year coming at Texas, and this one at New Hampshire. Nice run, Matt. Congratulations from the guys. You last pitted on lap 108. Walk me through the rest of your day, though.
Yeah, first of all, I didn't know there was a Gatorade Victory Lane here in New Hampshire. We never ran near good enough to have a shot at it, but you always like to win races on speed, and say we kind of won it on strategy. We had a good car, but we started in back, and we were behind people. We just couldn't go anywhere, and when we were in clean air up front, we could get away, so we just decided to pit earlier. We're actually, way early of our fuel window and just stayed out and hope for cautions to try to be in front.
Talk to me about the battle with Tim Fido. Boy, he looked like he might have gotten you there on the restart.
Yeah, I mean, hats off to Tim. I mean, he hasn't won a race in a while, and I knew he'd be trying real hard, and he did an extremely good job. Too much these days. We've been watching races, them green-white checkers, everybody running into each other, and Tim could have easily ran into me and knocked me out of the groove and won a race, but he was going to do it the man's way and race without hitting somebody, and really got to applaud Tim for that. That was a great job by him.
We saw a lot of banged-up cars today, but I think Benny and Wally are most impressed with how clean your car is, Matt.
I tried to keep it as clean as I could. In the beginning, we drove through to the front pretty decent, and at the end there, we got in the cars we needed to. Had a good car in long runs. The Bayer car just went go on restarts.
Matt Kenseth in Victory Lane at New Hampshire. Dave?
Well, Marty, Kyle Busch had no comment for me. Let's see if Jason Keller does. Obviously, you got the bad end of that deal.
Well, I really did. Miller High Life Ford was really running good, and trying to save fuel. I'm not a real good field racer, but saving fuel, and I hadn't gone yet. I mean, one of his guys said I brake checked, or somebody brake checked it from, but that's totally wrong because I hadn't even gone. When I went, my rear tires were off the ground spinning, so it's unfortunate, but I can cry about it, or I can go to Pikes Peak and try to win the race, and that's what we're going to do.
And you tried to get a word from Kyle.
Well, I will get a word from him and talk to him and tell him what I think, but out here on pit road is not the place to do it.
Very good, Matt.
First top 5 of the year for Tim Fido, and you would think that you won the race by how many people have come by and congratulated. First off, what a great rebound from the spin.
Yeah, it was. I told my guys, just don't give up. This is a long race, and the cautions worked in our favor. We actually got ahead of them on gas mileage there, and it just all worked out for us pretty well for track position. I told Gary, and he didn't know that we needed track position, but we were talking back and forth. And we were just really tight at the start, and we kept loosening it up and got it better and better. And that's what I like about my team. These guys work hard and never give up on me. I never give up on them, and that's what makes it fun for me. I've had a lot of fun this year. we talked about it earlier, how I've been doing a lot of other things besides driving the last few years, and to come this year and run for Fitz Bradshaw and Supercuts and Hot Tamales and all my good sponsors, it feels awful special.
Very strong day by Tim Fedewa, second here at New Hampshire.
Matty, just a crazy day for Martin Truex. I don't know where to start. I mean, do we start with the penalties, or let's start with when you hit the wall and there was all that smoke? Could you not see where you were going? Is that why you hit the wall?
Yeah, I couldn't see. I think I locked up the left front tire, and it just went straight and hit the fence. And I couldn't figure out. I had a really, really bad vibration at the end of the race, and come to find out I didn't. You know, it was the left front tire flat spotted real bad. You can see cords hanging out. So luckily we just finished. Man, it was a rough day. The KFC car was really good. After that first pit stop, we made some adjustments, and it was really fast all day. Just, you know, we just had to, we just kept running into a roadblock every time it seemed like we get back in the game. You know, we drive up there in the top 10 and hit a fence or, you know, hit a wall and, you know, go to the back and come back through again, and just a long day. You know, my pit crew does a great job every week, and today they were off. You know, everybody has a bad day, so hopefully they'll rebound and we'll be back next week.
Somehow these guys, no matter what happens, though, always come out looking good. Same case today. Matt?
Jason Leffler started third, went to the back, the front, back to the front, ended up finishing third. A great points day for you, though, Jason.
Yeah, it was an awesome day all around. I mean, it was going to be that way. We knew before the race, just track positions, everything. And Booty had some great strategy there to get us up front again. And, you know, I got to thank everybody at Haas CNC Racing, and then the support we get from Hendrick and Chevrolet is great. But the guys are doing a great job. It's nice to get a good finish. We're having some great performances lately, and to get a solid top three is great.
Started today 7th in points unofficially, leaves New Hampshire 4th in points.
And our NASCAR racing from New Hampshire is brought to you by Miller High Life. To live simply, proudly, boldly, manly, this is the High Life. By New Castrol GTX Startup Motor Oil. And by Midas Auto Service Experts. Trust the Midas touch. Well, some good racing on the track, some fireworks, a little controversy too, all mixed in, and here's how it'll all turn out, pending any post-race reviews.
Bobby Hamilton came back to finish 9th spot, beating Mike Wallace on that last lap.
Matt Kenseth with his first New Hampshire win in his 5th race, second win of 2004, 16th win of his NASCAR Busch Series career.
And 12th place, Paul Wolfe has to be thrilled to finish 12th in front of the home crowd here in New Hampshire.
Martin Truex Jr., 11th place run. And last on the lead lap would be 24th place, Gus Wasson. Kyle Busch winds up 25th, 1 lap down after the penalty. And Jason Keller a spot behind him in 26th.
And speechless.
You see Greg Biffle ended up 10 laps down in 30th place after his assorted problems. And a lot of drivers failed to finish. One in particular I wanted to mention, Hermie Sadler, with a great qualifying run. He ran into some brake problems early and went to the garage, and every time I went to bring it up, something else happened. One of those days here at New Hampshire.
I think we're going to see the same thing tomorrow in the Cup race. I mean, the same strategies, the same exact deal should play out tomorrow.
Biggest championship lead of the season. Martin Truex over Kyle Busch by 94 points. You see Jason Leffler moving up 3 spots. And the NASCAR Busch Series races at Pikes Peak International Raceway in Colorado Springs next Saturday. You will see it here on TNT. Tomorrow, NASCAR Nextel Cup Series racing from New Hampshire, 1:30 Eastern Time, starting with Discover Card Countdown to Green. And if we see more like we saw today, Wally and Benny, it should be a fun afternoon.
I think it will be.
And I look forward to it. I think it's going to be thrilling and exciting. And drama.
Yeah, 10 caution flags today. And 8 different lead changes. In the end, Matt Kenseth came out on top to score the victory. And he'll line up tomorrow to try and make it a weekend sweep here in New England. Talk to you tomorrow, 1:30 Eastern Time. You've been watching NASCAR on TNT.